Welcome to Tuesday Review. I'm Nathan, as always, joined by James. What's something that's made you happy recently, James?
Oh, hmm. I've been watching From, which I mentioned last episode.
Still making you
So
happy?
that's good. Um, what else? Yeah, I'll stick with that for now, and then I won't take up too much time from our guest today. But next week I will have some juicy stuff.
Or also joined by Alum. How you going, Alum? What's something that's made you happy recently?
Um, I'm doing all right, thank you, Nathan. I think Gen V for the boys.
Ah, nice.
I've been watching that because I'm keen to get onto the new season. Well, at this point, it's been here for a while, but as you guys had said, you probably want to watch Gen V before you start that.
Definitely.
And yeah, just having a good time with that. It's nice to see, I guess, the younger superheroes trying to find their way. So that's something I'm enjoying and being
Wait,
happy with.
is the new season out already?
He's talking
Uh,
about the season that came out a few months ago.
yeah.
They're filming.
Oh,
They're filming for the new
They're filming
season,
they're
yeah.
filming the new one, yeah.
and we're also joined by special guest Thien from TMLE Games. How you going, Thien? What's something that's made you happy recently?
My Kickstarter funding. I know
Yes,
that's great.
congratulations. So I guess we'll start off by introducing, I guess, you to our audience. You make like card games, board games,
Yeah,
those kinds of
just
things,
games
and
in
we
general.
we met you at PAX.
Yeah.
How did your PAX recovery go?
Oh, all right. Like the flight from Adelaide to Melbourne is a lot shorter than it seems. So I just got off the plane, went to sleep, went straight to work the next day, and it was okay.
Okay, good. So you recovered
Yeah.
all right. That's good. Usually it's
Honestly,
like,
work was a lot less tiring than being at PAX trying
yeah,
to like demo my
Mm.
game.
yeah, because PAX is exhausting enough, and then if you get sick out of it, it can wreck you. It
Yeah,
can wreck your whole week.
it
Um,
really can.
so we played two games at PAX with you. We played Videography and Spellwards.
That would,
Spellwards, yes.
yeah.
Spellwards.
It's like
It's
forwards,
like
but replace
Forward
the
spellword.
forward spell
Okay.
with spellwards.
Yeah.
so because it sounds like words.
Yeah.
Kind of like there's layers to the name,
Yeah.
like but everyone thinks it's a horrible name, but I like it.
No, no, it's
Yeah.
good.
I guess, do you want to explain to our audience what the game's about? Spellwords
Oh,
specifically.
Spellwards is a word game loosely based off of Shiritori. It's a Japanese folk game where someone says a word and then you have to can say another word that starts with the last letter of that word. But my game is a card game and there's no turn order. I'm really bad at describing it. Like that's why I had the video made.
Yeah. Well, we'll put all that in the description below the video and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so essentially it's, someone gets a card and the card will have a number attached to it, which is the amount of letters you need to play. So it's like you start off with a random letter, whatever it is, right?
Yeah,
And then
something in the yeah, in the
yeah,
center.
and then something in the center, say it's an L with five, and you have so. But I think for the first card, it doesn't really matter. You just have to play another card.
No, the first I've actually had like three people, like the person I had review my game also messed up the rules. It's like, there's like three rules, but like I've heard every combination of it.
So, but in general, like, yeah, you have to play a
There's a
word,
letter in the center,
and that's the
right?
first letter of the word you
So
have to
say
make. Yeah.
it's like a P, all right? Yeah. Then you're trying to play a card from your hand. You have seven cards in your hand, and you play the letter N, and it has a free on that N. You have to say a word that starts in P, ends in N, and is three letters long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
So
say
pin
pen,
or
and
pen,
yeah,
yeah.
Pen, pan,
And then the
yeah,
pun.
next person has to use N as their starting letter, and whatever card they have
Yeah,
as
there's
their
no
ending
turn.
letter.
So like, there's no next person. It's just
Yeah. Or
whoever.
whoever thinks of a
Yeah.
first.
yeah,
Yeah.
So like, I like to describe it like it's Snap, but it's
Yeah.
always everyone's turn.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
All
very
the cards snap.
fast. Yeah.
It's a good party game. It's a good challenging game. It's a good word game. I feel like it'd be good for kids too to learn. Like it's like a very a vocabulary game.
Yeah, and you have to think about words in a weird way. Like people don't really think about like the how the word ends a lot of
Mm.
the time. And like as you play, you'll come up with strategy. So like if a word ends in S, just make it a plural. If it ends in G, ing. And yeah, as you play,
Yeah.
you'll come up with strategies like that.
Yeah. And you recently launched a Kickstarter for this game too.
Yeah.
Um, Congratulations on your Kickstarter.
Thank you. Like
Um,
I probably should have there's a lot of things I would have done differently, honestly. It was very scuffed, I think. Like I only had 62 followers before my launch. And generally you try to aim for like 200, 300. And then you're meant to have your like
Mm.
Kickstarter page live, like in its pre-launch for like 6 months and you just keep on funneling people to it. But I had
Mm.
mine out for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you're still a success though.
Yeah, it still
So
worked, but
you
I
just
made it
unnecessary
a lot
stress.
more stressful than it could should have been.
Yeah.
But that's good. It's good that it's a success, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye on it, and we'll hopefully get a copy when it comes out.
Yeah.
We'll order it. Is
Mm.
it produced in South Australia?
No, there's no like board game manufacturing in Australia because we're just so far away from everything.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
like if you were to make it in Australia, shipping to like America or Europe would just be just so
Uh,
expensive. It makes no sense. So
yeah, that makes sense.
that's why like people do China because
Yeah.
it's like central. It's like the same distance to all the major spots like America or
Yeah,
Europe or Australia.
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
aiming, yeah, but there is like Australian companies that work with Chinese manufacturers. So I'm working with
Mm.
like a kind of Australian company called Launch Tabletop. And then, yeah, they're going to make it with
The
their
middleman making an
connection.
easier process. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
So like, I guess how is that gonna like, as far as your Kickstarter goes? Is it kind of, are you ready for when it ends to sort of like, I guess, have you got the process rolling on how you're
Yeah,
gonna, I
yeah,
guess, fulfill all these orders and how is that process looking like for you? I'm just interested in that kind of behind the scenes aspect of rolling kind of
right.
this launch out.
Yeah, it's basically it's already made. Like that's why board game Kickstarters are generally safer than like a video game Kickstarter because
Mm.
all the work's been done already. Like I just need to send it to a printer, get it printed, and I can ship it out.
Mm.
There's no like extra development. I'm not
Yeah,
like having to code like extra levels or
yeah.
like extra characters.
Mm.
It's all done.
There's no risk of you not being able to fulfill the product at the end of the
Yeah,
campaign.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like the only risk is how much money I make from it,
yeah,
more or
Mm.
less based on like what the shipping cost is going to be if the tariffs in the US actually go through
Mm.
and stuff like that. But yeah,
um,
I'm not really too fussed about making money on the game. I just like having it out there.
Mm.
yeah,
How many
100%.
is
Yeah.
this your first game?
Yeah, it's my first game. Yeah,
Cool. And
I've done a lot of research though. Like I made this game like 5 years ago.
mm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were just walking past you and you were playtesting it with just anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, assumedly you'd done that before
Yeah, I did it
for
last
years, I
year.
guess.
I've been to two free conventions in Adelaide and PAX twice.
Mm.
So I'm used to like calling random people over and be like, hey, do you like
Yeah,
word names? Try this one out.
yeah. Well, that's how you got us.
And like it's only like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So it's like
Oh yeah,
definitely right.
it's so easy to learn and easy to play. It's just for
It's hard to
the
win though.
yeah for someone like me, I was just like, I can't think of any word longer than 4 letters.
Yeah, it's like the
So
time pressure as well,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
Like I love it that not only because, I'm not hating on the kids of this generation, but I am a little bit. There's a lot of kids that don't know how to spell anymore, because everything's autocorrect, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
And just that little advantage of the game of it makes you really, like you said, think about how many letters are in a word, exactly how to spell the word, that sort of thing.
and like how words are built.
Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah,
that's just really cool where, in every kind of game that you're playing, you're learning a little bit, or at least kind of reinforcing good vocabulary sense at the very least. So I'm like, a game that can, help you improve yourself a little bit, that's always an added plus. then there's just the fact that, like you said, the time pressure just, oh, like I just want to be better. I just want to be like, damn it, I want to win. That's
Yeah.
I think that's great for any game to kind of be like, well, all right, it's over in 3 minutes. Let's roll another round.
Mm.
Yeah. Like
Because
quicker play. If
this
someone
is going to
like,
be my round, even though it's not
mm.
probably, but yeah,
You can always
maybe
get
thinking,
lucky with your hand as well. If you get a
yeah,
bunch of like three, $4 cards, you just steamroll, and it's like,
yeah,
I did
Yeah.
it. I did it.
Yeah, I mean that's also when you're playing with strangers, that's also part of the luck factor too. You'll get someone who's really smart and really wordy and they just demolish you no matter what their hand is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I think it is a good game for like families and kids.
Mm.
Definitely an educational kind of game too, which is nice.
Yeah. But
Um,
it's also just nice. It's fun.
yeah. It's just fun,
yeah.
Yeah.
straight
Don't
up.
stress the education part
No.
too much.
Yes.
Yeah, that might turn the kids off. Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
educational. It's dangerous. Yeah,
this isn't like
stay
an
away from
English test in a
it.
box or anything. There is
No,
like
but
joy that you can achieve from it.
it's the way you get like the school to buy the cards, the
Yeah.
pack for the game.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we could use this in the library. It's for words. We swear, it's not going to be entertaining. Yeah,
Yeah.
but from your playtesting, I guess, did you have because the way you've described the game and the way it is, it's relatively straightforward. But have you still had people manage to kind of, for lack of a better word, break the game, and you've had to go back and kind of change some things?
Not really. Like I spent a little time choosing which letters were
Mm.
gonna be in it, and like trying to figure out which like combination, which like number and letter combinations is just too hard.
I guess
And
that's the
nah,
side you don't think about.
there's like
Yeah,
nothing to break. That's the thing. I
Yeah.
guess you could just be too good at the game and just crush every time. So like I've been thinking about like variants or like handicaps you can use on people that are too good. And I might like put it online somewhere if that's ever the case.
yeah, like wild cards or something. That could
Or
be
like
interesting.
just take 3 extra cards to start. If you, just like how golf has a pass system,
Yeah.
but like if you're just too good, you have like a massive disadvantage, but you'll still win normally.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of stuff like that for Spellwards.
yeah. Well, we saw that in action at PAX when we were playing our other game, Videography, and someone
Oh,
just kept steamrolling us the entire time. And
that guy was crazy.
each round only took 20 seconds because he would just win, and each next round he would get like 3 extra cards, and it just didn't make a difference.
It just didn't make any sense. It was like because like you guys are all movie podcasters as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Like
And he
it
sits
just seems
down,
so
he's like, I don't watch
bland.
movies, and then he's just like knows everything
Yeah.
about them. I'm like,
Just
oh no,
hustling, yeah.
we get hustled.
Yeah, that moment was a shark. He just came by.
Yeah,
He's like, "I'm gonna
And
teach
then
these
he
kids a
came
yeah.
lesson."
back and
So
started talking shit as well. He was like, "Oh, I played that game."
yeah, nah. The next
The,
minute,
the creator doesn't know how to play it though.
nah. And then you know what though? The next game would have been, hey, let's make it interesting. We'll have $5 around. I'm like, nah, I'm
Yeah.
out of here. See you later. I've played this game before.
See, he threw down his cards too early. He steamrolled you. You should have
Yeah. Should have
played it
pretended how.
cool and let
Yeah.
you guys win a round or two, get you confident.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
He showed his hand.
Again, we don't condone gambling, but some of us do dabble in it occasionally. So any of these games is fun. Like I said, there's just that. Hey, let's just do $5 for this game. Let's see what happens. And you may sour some relationships or have a damaging, crippling addiction at the end of the night, but you've had a lot of fun, which I think you can't put a price on. Uh, Another
Um,
question I had on, I guess more on game design and that kind of stuff was, have you tested different languages?
I want to, but
Mm.
it should work in French, but like the letters and number combinations are super important. So I just need it for meet for someone French,
yeah,
and then
you
like
need
that.
some.
Any of you guys know another language you can tell me with?
Unfortunately, the one you'd have to also have different letters.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
different letters is easy. I've got the templates. I can just print out new letters
Sorry, I
and
meant a different
like
alphabet. Yeah,
characters.
different
Yeah.
characters altogether.
Yeah, it's fine.
Which is again a whole new kettle of fish, I'd imagine. But that also seems really cool that you could at least for the letters that the Latin letters. Are they Latin letters? What are they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
could have at least those base languages.
yeah. I feel like a
Just
Spanish version would be really sick.
yeah,
yeah,
Mhm.
but I think you're right. I think the number system is what makes it infinitely more complicated
Yeah, no,
because of the
you have to have a deep knowledge of the language.
yeah.
yeah,
You have
because
to.
obviously the amount of times they use the letters would vary language to language. So that's an
Yeah,
interesting thing to think of. Um,
yeah.
Are there any games that you've kind of had an idea for, but you haven't been able to make it work?
Hmm. My first game was like a chess type game, and like it's like such a classic first game to make as well. Where I was like, oh, I can make chess better, and you can never make chess better because it's just like it's yeah,
There's
because
already, yeah, there's already 3D
Yeah,
chess, there's already different types.
there's every type of chess,
Yeah,
and no one cares because chess is just chess. You don't want to add too much to it's already complicated enough.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. So yeah, that was one game I couldn't make work. It was like Yu-Gi-Oh with chess. I was young.
Oh,
Oh,
actually, that sounds cool.
you
No,
actually
no,
got me.
it
Hang
sounds cool.
on.
Sucks though, right?
I kind of want to see this game now. Just like,
Yeah, bring it
No,
back,
there are
bring it back.
versions of like it's like spell chess or something, and they exist.
Hmm.
It's just like it's like too random.
hmm,
It's like you don't want to spend. It takes too long. You have to learn too much stuff,
Hmm.
and
There was that one at PAX me and Alan played.
uh,
Nimbus?
Nimbus, I think.
Nimbus? Yeah,
Nimbus.
something like that. And it was interesting, but they were selling copies of it for like it was like $180 or something.
oh,
So, something
And
like that, yeah.
yeah, we were just like, look,
It
you
was
know,
nice
if
though. It was like finished wood and stone
oh
pieces.
yes, it
yeah,
was it was
Yeah.
nice quality, but like, I mean, I don't at a convention, I'm not sure people want to be throwing down that much money on one thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah,
So, but
Like,
that was good. There were good ideas for chess, but
yeah.
yeah.
I guess you
Like
got to
if you
know your
want to play
audience.
chess, just play chess, man.
Yeah.
Just play
Yeah.
chess.
So after your Kickstarter campaign is launched and you've gone through the whole process, will there be a chance, say via a website or elsewhere, to buy the game? Or is at the moment the only kind of opportunity we have to buy it through the Kickstarter?
Yeah, yeah. It'll probably be Kickstarter. I'm gonna have to. I feel like I should probably give. So there's a retail tier, and generally it's like good to not sell it online straight away and let the retailers
Mm.
try to like get rid of their copies before you go in and start like selling it online.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I would probably start selling it online at some point though. Maybe like 2026 sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like
Still,
I might bundle it together with my next Kickstarter as well, videography.
that
So
would be cool.
yeah.
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 Very good.
Um, do you do all the design and artwork yourself?
I did the box, but I had someone as an illustrator for
To the
the
cards?
cards and
Yeah.
stuff and like the logo. I'm not that good an artist.
Yeah.
I know what my limits are.
No, I like it. They look good because it's, obviously spell words. It's got a fantasy
Yeah. Like
feeling.
magic.
Yeah.
Like it's like art, Art Nouveau, like it's like
Mm,
the
Yeah.
1800 like Alphonse Mucha. It's like
yeah.
the inspiration and like there was a
Yeah.
yeah. You've definitely seen his artwork around.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got
And it's
like
very like kind of mystical, kind of like
Yeah.
yeah,
seasoned.
there was like a children's like illustration book that had the similar lettering. I can't remember what it was called. But it was just like an ABC book, and it had a very similar lettering style with like just kind of like fantasy kind of stuff going on in the background. And
Mm,
you'd sit there for like hours and just like look at the pictures, and so it has
Yeah.
that kind of nostalgic kind of lettering, like magic
Mm.
kind of vibe about it, which is nice.
Yeah.
mm,
And I wanted to make it look kind of old as well. Like it's like a game that's existed since the 1800s and like
mm.
your grandma used to play it in like Romania or some shit, something. And like it's just been reprinted. Like that's
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
vibes I was going for.
It's cool. Yeah, it feels like there's a world contained in it, even though it's a very simple, kind of fast game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it feels like it's got a history or something. Yeah. No, it looks
I
cool.
had like a lot of like marketing ideas for it. I was gonna like try to market it as like a lost game from like a fantasy world or like with like a
that's
magic
cool.
system or stuff, but like it's
That'll be
too much
cool.
work. I can't shoot videos that
Yeah.
good.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is only the beginning. It's still like your first kind of go around.
Yeah,
So, in future projects can build upon what you've learned here.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot I've learned
Mm.
about like Kickstarter. and stuff. I'm definitely gonna shorten the campaign next time. Also, not end it on like the 21st of December.
Yeah.
It's like an insane
That's-
time to end a campaign.
Yeah, that's something you probably didn't. No one ever would think about when they're trying to. You're so focused on getting it out there. You're just like,
Yeah.
wait, I'm launching it during Christmas when people are buying
Like I
presents.
buy other
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
Someone messaged me. I was like, "Can I get it as a gift for Christmas? Like for next year, maybe."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's all a learning experience.
Yeah.
We are a movie show, and we ask
Yeah.
all our guests. We can edit this out if you're not a movie guy, but I think
Oh,
you
I
might
like
be a movie
movies.
guy because of videography. But
Yeah.
gut feeling, what is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie,
There's no wrong answer.
it's Shrek. I have this. It's Shrek. I've watched Shrek so many times.
Shrek.
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 Respectable.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
respectable answer. That's fair
Yeah.
enough. It's a lot of people. I'm not sure it's like Alex's favorite movie, friend of the show, Alex.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah,
Or
it's
Classic.
that.
very quotable.
Yeah. Or like Gone Girl. I've watched Gone Girl all the time. A bunch of
Okay.
times for some reason as well.
More
Yeah.
interesting movie to talk about. Why does that speak to you? That's-
I
Two
don't
different
know.
ends of the spectrum.
It's just as soon as I start watching Gone Girl, I can't stop watching Gone Girl. It's just like even though it's like 3 hours long, I'm just like
Yeah.
impressed all the time.
Interesting. No, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Good choices. Very different.
Yeah.
Respect.
And make it an interesting double feature.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd connect the two. We should actually, before I forget, we've mentioned videography, but we talked about it on our show when we talked about going to PAX. But we should mention like it's kind of like Spellwards where
Yeah.
you slam down cards. There's no turn order, is there?
Nope.
Yeah.
Jump in,
And
play whenever you want.
you get a card with like a genre or a trope on it,
Yep.
and there's a card in the middle with a genre or trope, and you just have to pick one of yours and match it
Link 'em.
with link them. So if the card on the card in the center said Western, and one of your cards said I don't know,
Science
Robot.
fiction.
You could
Yeah,
be
science
Yeah.
fiction. Yeah.
yeah,
Or Cowboys and Aliens.
Kalen's
Yeah,
and science fiction, yeah, you put something like that. So and then you just that one obviously is a lot easier just in general because if you've seen a TV show
Yeah.
or a movie, you can play it, and of course it's good for us because we don't have to spell or think of the words of length of words.
Yeah.
As always with that game as well, like the time pressure is always that killer of like I need to not only, you've got the card that's down, I need to put my card down and have the movie ready before somebody else does.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
sometimes there's too many options. Like
Yeah.
I'll get stuck on like animation sometimes, even though there's like a million animated movies.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easy to go blank when you're under that's the
Yeah.
pressure of the moment.
When you especially like that's a game where there are so many right answers, you're almost spoiled for choice, and it's like Mr. Burns, where all the diseases are trying to get through the door and they all get stuck, and so he never gets sick.
Yeah.
It's like all these answers are in your head, and it's like none of them are coming through.
Yeah, they're not getting to your tongue. You're just like, come on,
Yeah.
I need this.
It's because it's like, oh, a fantasy adventure
With a
movie.
sword in it. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like there's
and
so
then-
many I can't.
And then you're sitting at the table in PAX and you know what movie you want to say, but then the card shark next to you won't let you speak, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
And the guy was German as well. Like, was
Oh,
even
that
just
explains
like-
it. He's like, I live at the kino.
Yeah. But I do like that, like, obviously, unlike something like 13 where you just get hustled because somebody's got a better, setup than you, there's that 3-second pause
Yeah,
before,
Oh yeah, that was the one thing that could break it.
Yeah.
Where like you could just chain all the words in your hand and just play them out in a row.
Mm.
So that's why the 3-second pause is there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
smart. All right. Anyone else have any other questions?
So Spellwards obviously is finished and the Kickstarter's out now. That ends
Yeah,
on the 21st of December.
Horrible time, but it is
yeah.
what it is.
We'll link it again on the socials.
Yeah,
when
we'll
we
put all
post
the
it.
links in the
Yeah.
description. And videography, we'll just that's in the future. You
next
don't have a
year.
date for that.
Probably not at the same time next year. Probably a couple of months before. Hopefully, like it depends on when I can get Spellwards out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That obviously that's your priority now, and
Yeah, and
you
like
want to
Kickstarter won't let you do another Kickstarter until your first
fulfill.
Kickstarter is
Yeah,
fulfilled,
that
which
makes
is
sense.
smart. You don't want to be like letting scammers just constantly churn out
Yeah,
Kickstarters.
true.
Yeah. So
Cool. We'll keep the audience up to date on everything related to Spellwords and videography. Where can people find you? What are your socials?
yeah, social media, timely_TMLE on Instagram. Yeah, that's mostly it. Like
Yeah.
I'm just by myself most of the time, so I
Yeah, no
can't be
worries.
asked with
Yeah,
like all
fair.
the different social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah, that's all right. We're on like 8.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
insane. So much work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I think you've done a really good job in, like you were saying, you're supposed to have the pre-Kickstarter up and promote the shit out of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get videography up like soon.
Yeah.
It's
But
like,
with Spellwords, you did a good job of, like, I guess a lot of people there was enough buzz about it.
mm, yeah.
Yeah.
And frankly, you made a great game. Like that, I think that's one of
Yeah.
the most important parts is
Yeah.
a lot of times, people have put in a lot of effort and heart and soul, but overall, unfortunately, the game is objectively not as good as it needs to be. But in your case, like you've knocked it out of the park with the game. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank
I
We
think you've
did.
done one of the harder things.
Yeah, we did an awful job explaining it, but it was a very easy game to play, to learn and to pick up
Yeah,
and to play.
it's a really hard game to explain for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
maybe
don't
it's
know
so
why.
it's so simple that it's hard to explain, or
Yeah,
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like the video, you just need to watch the 45-second video.
Yeah.
I
Watch the
think you
45
need
second
like
video.
the
Yeah.
graphics, like
Yeah,
I think
Once you
having
s-
having the
words and
cards
all
in
this
your hand and
stuff.
everything else shown
yeah.
is kind of that
Did
critical
we
point.
Yeah. Once you see
did
it, you know what to do.
did we take any video? I think we did. Did we take a little bit or no? I can't remember. If we did take any video of our play session, maybe we'll put it up with this video. But
Right?
I can't remember
We
if we were
can
recording. I don't
we
think
can
maybe we weren't.
we can splice in the 45-second
Yeah,
instructional video too.
yeah,
Yeah,
We'll just
yeah.
throw that in as well at the end. Be like, here's how to play.
That's out of play.
Yeah. Um, I reckon that's all we've got for this
Yeah.
interview.
Thanks for having me on. It's been a
Thanks.
good chat.
Thanks, Tien.
Excited to talk again maybe when video
definitely.
comes out.
Yeah.
Please do. We'll share all your socials and everything about the Kickstarter and the game in the socials when we post this video on Tuesday
Cheers.
and Wednesday next week. Thank you for joining us, Tien, and we'll be back
Mm.
right after this.
Yeah, we're back on the Tuesday review. We're now joined by Callum. How you going, Callum? What's
not bad.
something's made you happy this week, Callum?
Marvel Rivals.
Yes, very good. A new video game by NetEase, I believe. That's an Overwatch clone.
Because you've been introducing the last few episodes, you never say what's making you happy, do
Nothing
you?
makes me happy.
Well, yeah.
No,
But this is why we have to pretend.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Keep the positive energy.
What's made me happy? I don't know.
Video getting shot. No.
Oh,
Yeah.
eat the rich.
No. We don't.
They made us unbearably sad.
Yes, that made us terrible. Violence is wrong, kids.
Yeah, that's it.
Eat the rich.
No,
Free Luigi. All right, let's move on quickly.
I don't know what's made me happy recently. I guess watching Christmas movies.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Christmas
that.
Christmas makes me happy.
Next week we'll have a bit of a Nora Ephron / Christmas
Yeah.
sort of, and hopefully it'll be a very fun, grand old
Yeah.
time.
Jeff the Shark supremacy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he's one
Jeff
of the
the Land
heroes
Shark.
in. He's one of the heroes in Marvel.
Oh, in
Rivals
Marvel
you can play.
Rivals.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're back on the show now. That was our interview with Thien.
Mm-hmm.
So go kickstart Spellwards.
Yep.
And we'll keep the audience updated on the progress of that game and videography later on.
And you can go. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter now. I was going to say you can go on YouTube and watch the actual video of that.
Yes.
That interview.
Yeah.
But if you've listened to it, then
Yeah. It's,
Probably
it's
not.
too late.
Yeah.
Moving on, we are going to get straight into it. Me, Callum, and Alan have previously watched From, and it's now we've finished the third season. And James caught up.
Yes.
James watched it, binge watched it over the weekend, I assume,
Yeah.
most of it.
How do
Yeah.
we feel?
Great.
Yeah. So from I
Binge
mean,
watching is probably the best way to watch this
Yeah,
show as well.
because every time an episode would end, it had like a cliffhanger or a revelation, and then I could just click and watch the next episode. And then
let
the
me see
season,
about that revelation you got there.
and then the season would end, and I'd be like, "Great, I have another season."
Yeah.
And then I got to season 3, and I was like,
what do?
"What do I do now?" And then
Yeah.
Nathan's like, "Oh well, because of scheduling conflicts, the next season 4 is not gonna come out till 2026." And I was like, "Duh." So
it's
mad.
one of those interesting situations where they weren't sure how the show was going to go, if it's going to be that successful.
I'm surprised it lasted this long, to be honest.
Well, yeah, and that's essentially so with the cast, right?
Mm.
So they signed up for more work from what I've been reading on the internet. Everyone was like, well, we're not too sure, so I'll get another job in the meantime. And then season 3 went off.
Bananas.
And
yeah.
it went bananas, and it's their like most successful show.
It's because it's on Stan here in Australia, but it's an MGM Plus
Yeah.
exclusive,
Yeah.
like original in
never even
America.
heard of that.
Which
Yeah.
who's even heard of it? And like who in America? I mean,
Metro Goldwyn Mayer, they
Yeah.
do their own little.
they've got their own
streaming
service now.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's MGM Plus.
It,
So-
it could be like they have those Amazon Prime Plus channels.
It
It
is
could
that's
be
what I'm
one of
saying.
those.
Yeah, it's one
we
of those
have that
add-ons.
here, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have From.
Yeah, so it's like, but it's like it's not even one of the quote unquote big
Yeah.
Netflix or Amazon, or
Yellowstone,
even
yeah.
Apple.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's not even on one of the big streamers in
yeah.
America. So and then here we get on Stan, and it's like I'm surprised because you Nathan, I think you started watching it first when the first season
Yeah.
came out in 2022, and it was.
And I got Alum straight onto
it's
it.
not the most obscure show.
I think I started it as the second season was about to start, or
maybe?
somewhere in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not the most obscure show. But what I'm saying is, it's like most people probably haven't heard of it or seen it.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's gotten up to season 3 and they've renewed it, that's awesome because
Yeah.
it's a good show
And it's building in popularity too.
Yeah, and if it
which is
was on
interesting.
Netflix or whatever, they would have cancelled it after one
I think-
season. And
It doesn't matter how big it is. They're like, no, you're
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
yeah,
One and done. I think what's interesting about the show is it's got that kind of, it's made by the same people that made Lost, at least some of them, right? It's got that mystery
Is it?
box. It is. It's made by the same, at least the same
John-
producers. We'll look it up. Alan's
because the
looking it up.
creator's was his name John Garner or something.
He's Alan's looking
John
it up, but
Griffin.
it has some of the same people that made Lost. I
Yeah.
don't know exactly.
Well,
who.
the Harold
And,
Perrineau,
Harold
the
Perrineau,
main
yeah.
guy, he was in Lost.
yeah,
Walt.
Maybe
yeah.
it's the same character.
Oh, I hope they don't do that. It's in the same universe.
Oh, yeah,
Actually, we should
don't worry.
explain what it is.
So yeah,
Just in
so
case
that's what
people
I was
don't
getting
know.
to. So it's apparently made by some of the same people who made Lost, and it
But
follows.
it's not connected.
It's not
No, no,
connected
no.
as far as we know.
It's not connected. I refuse.
And so well, basically, what happens is people will be all over America driving. And they'll come to a tree in the road, right, in like
Yeah.
a foresty area. And then they'll be like, oh, that's weird. They'll go into a town, and then they can't leave. They just loops back around, and they're kind
Yeah,
of stuck in this
you can't escape this little town.
almost what seems like a little pocket dimension of a town where you can't leave. It just loops back on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that trope.
Yeah, and it's kind of got a bit of Salem's Lot in it. There's like,
Yeah, it's like
kind of like
Lost,
vampire
Salem's
monsters
Lot.
at night, and there's like mysteries about where is
Yeah.
the town, what is the town.
At night, there are these vampire creatures that
Yeah.
come out, and then during the day, they're trying to survive.
Yeah,
And
so
Yeah.
it's got some of the elements of like almost slice of life, living in like a really kind
Yeah.
of rough area,
It's
like
it's
survival
it's the
existence.
most similar to. Did you ever watch Wayward Pines?
no,
Yeah,
It's it's like a mixture between Wayward Pines and Twin Peaks in the sense that
Yeah.
Wayward Pines had a similar setup where everyone
Trapped
could
in
walk
this small
around through the
town.
day, but then
Yeah.
when night came, everyone had to stay indoors.
yeah,
But it's also got some Twin Peaks in it where it's some of the time it focuses on the small town issues, which
Mm.
is what I like. Like I would have an entire show where they don't
yeah.
solve the central mystery, but it's just about the drama in the town. That's
There's-
what I,
yeah, and the
There's
weird like
almost some
supernatural.
weirdness. There's also some weird supernatural stuff like Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And
And it's also-
It doesn't seem to be the same.
No?
Actual...
But it's been advertised as by some of the people that brought you Lost.
Maybe one of the producers, yeah,
Probably a producer.
But yeah, no,
someone
no,
from like craft
no big.
services.
Yeah, it was no big name. It wasn't J.J. Abrams or
No.
Damon Lindelof or anyone
Thank
like
God.
that. Yeah,
No hate on
but
David Lindelof.
the reason we say it's like Lost is because they're trapped in this town, so it's like being
Yeah.
trapped on the island. And there's a lot of like mystery, like supernatural mystery. It's like, why are they trapped there? Why certain people? Who are the creatures? Where do they come from? You know, there's a mysterious ghost boy, and you know, it's like, remember in Lost when they found the hatch and everyone's like, what's in the hatch? It's like From has stuff like that. It's like, oh, what's that? They found a new thing.
What's in the cellar?
Yeah. And, you know, what's the significance of this symbol?
So it shares, but from Lost and From both share producers, one being Jack Bender and one being Jeff Pinkner.
Okay.
And they were behind Lost as well.
But it's only similar in the fact that there's this unfolding supernatural mystery, and these people are trapped and trying to figure out. Yeah. But unlike Lost, hopefully, they have a plan. They've planned it all out, and they know. And so far, it seems like they kind of know what they're doing, and it's not just going to be them.
Because without going into spoilers, it's a show that rewards kind of a rewatch when a revelation gets like kind of revealed, then you can use that knowledge, especially at the end of season 3. You can use the knowledge we gained, go back and rewatch it,
see
and
the
you can
foreshadowing.
see clues and foreshadowing. So
it also recontextualize certain scenes.
Yeah, so in that sense, it does seem like they have a definite kind of, at least a path.
It also, like you said, it seems pre-planned. Whereas you look at Lost, a lot of their revelations seemed off the cuff. As they were going, they were figuring it out.
Because J.J. Abrams is the mystery box guy who's like, oh, the answer doesn't matter. Let's just throw everything in. And then you had the fact that there was the writer's strike pretty early on, I think, when the show started. And then the fact that it was like...
the same writer's strike that ruined Heroes?
Yes, it was.
Yes. Yeah. And then like... you had the fact that this was kind of before the kind of premium cable and streaming era of television. So they were just throwing everything and just making stuff up as they went, and then it just went off the rails, and it was a huge disappointment. Whereas this one, it's a lot, has, like I said, that similar mystery box. Yeah. But there's definitely there's a goal, there's a
what I like
there's a plan,
about it is they seem to actually answer their questions.
Exactly, yeah.
Not early on, you know what I mean? But by the time you get to season 3, there are questions which you thought would not get answered that are absolutely definitively answered. And then they lead into, like, the answers to those questions lead into the next mystery.
Yeah.
So it seems like they have a definite plan.
Yeah.
And it's not one of those things where they're like, well, we'll figure it out as we go. It's like, no, there's a story here that they probably before season 1, they had an idea, and they're unfolding bits throughout the show,
and
which is the best way to do it.
Yeah, and it seems like, you know, they're sort of the people in the town are starting to solve the mystery, but that's just opened up another can of worms that now they have to deal with. Every time they sort of figure something out or counteract one of the enemy forces or entities or whatever, that it's sort of the town pushes back.
Yeah.
And so you got this evolving
narrative.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. It's also kind of like a post-apocalyptic zombie show, because they're trapped in this small town and they have to stay in the houses at night, and they have to survive. They have to
Thanks, Alan.
that was Alan's mic stand.
Dramatic strum.
Yeah, it sounded like a guitar. We're gonna now play classical gas.
See, no, we did a jump scare when you say, like, you know.
Oh yeah,
that was gonna be the jump scare in the video.
What was I saying?
Basically,
it's like a zombie show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's got that survival element of they have to grow their own food, because obviously there's nothing, they can't get any, and you know, only clothes and items they have is from if someone drives into the town and gets stuck there. So it's got this makeshift kind of scavenged.
I think the production behind the show was actually really smart too, because it would have cost them more up front, right? Because they built the houses, they built the buildings.
Built this little town.
They built the little town in the middle of nowhere, Canada, right? But they built it. So then each subsequent season, I guess, will be cheaper, at least location-wise. You know, they don't have to build the sets twice.
Jesus. Yeah. Like, turns out the whole plot of the film is actually like a detention center in Canada for Americans that have crossed river illegally, and they just get amnesia when they come in. They're like, why are we stuck here?
Well, I mean, there's so many theories which we can't really go into anything.
Well,
without
what's
spoiling.
interesting is I read one of the people involved in the show. I can't remember if it was like someone behind the scenes or a cast member said that the ending of season 3 is the end of the beginning.
Yeah.
So it seems like in terms of their arcs, we're at the end of like the first arc. I'm assuming there's probably like 3 arcs, and we're at the we're in near the meat.
Yeah, I'm hoping they at least get like I think 5 seasons is a good length for a lot of these type shows. I don't know what their plan is. I'm hoping they get to finish it and it doesn't just get cancelled or they get rushed into wrapping it up.
Yeah, like a truncated kind of ending.
Yeah. They're like, oh, we'll give you 1 more season, but you have to wrap it up. And they're like, no, we need to. And then, yeah.
What I like about the show, and this is a joke I've made many times, is like you get to choose if you want to live in Colony House or the town. And,
yeah.
like I'm watching it and like, life's bad. When you're like, they don't have it that bad. I'm like, as long as you like you
stay
keep
indoors at night,
you keep your amulet on your door.
Yeah,
there are worse places to live.
That's where the show starts. Is
other places in the States have lead pipes, So
no, but like, am I wrong?
That's where the show starts. is they've been able to make the town habitable and safe and quote unquote safe enough just to sort of get by and survive. And then the show starts when this new family arrives and gets stuck there, and all of a sudden everything...
hell breaks loose.
Exactly.
That's an interesting question. What would you be doing in the town, James, if you had to pick a role in the town?
I'd sit outside at night and just be like, just take me, I don't care. Just kill me.
I know what Alan would be doing. Alan would be in the bar.
Yeah.
Alan would be like the barkeep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be brewing alcohol, brewing weird shit just to get just to get people by, I'll be my own number 1 customer. And,
you'd also try to get all the cars back up and running, do racing and...
but for real, James, what would you do?
I don't know.
It's an interesting thought, kind of like an interesting thought.
So I guess a little bit of context to viewers or listeners, I should say both. That Colony House, it's explained basically at the start of the show. Colony House is a big old house where a bunch of people live communally, and they share everything. And their idea is
it's like a hippie con.
Yeah, let's kind of live for today because we don't know what's happening.
I think all of us in the studio would probably be like, we'd be town boys. The thing is, do you feel like you'd be sharing everything?
See, the thing with Colony House is on the one hand, it's like, oh yeah, cool, they smoke weed and have sex parties and whatever. But on the other hand, it's like this kind of...
Then someone steals your t-shirt.
Yeah, everyone just takes your stuff and there's no real privacy and...
Nah, mate, just give me a house.
Yeah, I'll be like, no, I'll stay in the town and just give me a room and I'll just chill inside. That's what I do here. Yeah. That's what I do in normal life.
Like the base level, Alan's like, oh, there's orgies over there. But it's like, it's not an orgy you want to be going to, right? When you look at everyone that's there. It's like...
Also, they only have limited penicillin.
Yeah, so it's like, I'd probably, maybe... I'd go there for a visit, but I'd probably stick to the town.
Yeah, I think
especially if I was more of a family man, then there's no question I'd just be in town.
Also, like, I mean, they discuss in the show, but it's like, I think the idea is that the people in town are working more towards trying to get out.
Yeah.
Whereas the people in Colony House have sort of resigned themselves to... This is our life now.
Yeah.
It's not exactly like that. And obviously, as the show goes on, the people in the Colony House are like trying to get out just as much
because they're very much fluid in terms of how
and eventually it's like there's a lot of crossover between the two groups.
I think another benefit of this show is it looks really nice.
Yeah,
and gorgeous. There's very limited.
So
I'll say that there's some CG and sometimes it's bad.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
But they use what they have best.
There's not a lot of it, yeah.
There's not a lot of it. Yeah, the CG's bad when it's there, but it's not there all the time.
Yeah.
And they use a lot of like nature shots, and the environments look really nice. Everything looks really solid.
Yeah, mostly it's like I really like the design of the creatures that come out at night, like when they're in full like monster form. It's really cool. They're not just zombies, they're not just vampires.
Even when they're in their humanoid form, their costumes.
That's cool too.
Their costumes are nice.
And that obviously
the period pieces.
we can't really go into it.
We're not going to go into it, but have you been down some of the Reddit holes on like the Twitter holes?
I did after I finished.
And like apparently the uniforms and that they mean something.
Well, that's the thing is because I don't want to spoil it, but they look like they're from a certain period.
Yeah.
Which then what you learn throughout the show of the history of the town, it's like, but does that make sense? And so I think things will be more revealed.
But you also have to keep an eye on art and drawings and everything else.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of like Easter eggs and kind of rabbit holes you can go down.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that keeps the audience engaged. Another smart kind of.
There's probably red herrings in there too.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And let's face it, there's probably a couple of things that they kind of didn't really intend for, and people are audiences are latching onto, and
I think this would be a good Telltale video game.
Oh man,
yeah.
Like
It'd be a
it
good
has
video,
the,
just like a survival video game.
but like specifically that Telltale kind of
Aspect
style
of
of
you make
like
decisions.
you make decisions
And there are
and
real consequences. To
yeah, that's it.
decisions.
And like Boyd will remember this.
Yeah.
But
Like,
even like a Last of Us or a Resident Evil, where you have
Does
to solve puzzles and
because I'm like,
fight.
imagine, because especially like you can just play like a guy who just comes into the town. You just have to survive it, and it's like obviously a storyline inspired by the TV show. But there's a lot of room. That's another good thing. There's a lot of room for imagination and like thinking what could happen, and it inspires kind of.
yeah.
it's got its own universe behind
Yeah.
it. There are stories in this universe which haven't been told. You know what I mean? It's like
I think
we talk on the show sometimes about properties where it's like it's bigger than just the TV show.
Yeah, I think if this show was to get cancelled, I'd really appreciate a book.
Yeah,
Comic
books.
would be cool.
Yeah.
Comic or just like a novel. Give me the whole story in a novel.
Yeah.
I'd do that, or an audio book, where maybe the characters voice themselves. I don't know.
Stage play.
Yeah, no, it's a really good show, and it's hard. Obviously, it's really hard for us to talk about without spoiling everything.
I'm
but
glad you liked it.
if you're, if you're out there and like, I think it's just a solid horror / sci-fi / fantasy / mystery kind of. It's just a solid.
Just be warned, there's like one really out of place sex scene in one of the first couple of episodes.
No, it's not out of place. It sets up the colony house.
That's the only scene like that in the entire show.
I think that's there's
And then
setting
Alan
up, and
got
then the
caught
rest.
out watching it with his mum, and he didn't realize it was going to happen.
I think
he threw it
that's
back on me saying I should have warned him. Like, but it's the only. It's the only scene in the show.
I think I've talked about this before, but a lot of these premium cable shows, because America has this weird puritanical, and they have the weird MPA rating system or whatever, but TV doesn't really, it's different rating and yada, yada, yada. I do find that, and we've talked about this before, where American movies and shows still shy away from nudity and sex a lot. HBO's probably the only one that doesn't care. Netflix depends on depending on the show. Netflix can have
Netflix has had a few
go
more recently,
but also sometimes their shows can be quite. I guess it just really depends. Amazon can go either way, but I think this is a show where it's like at the start they're like but then after that it becomes a very sexless show. Yeah. And on the one hand, I'm like, that's a shame because there are relationships in the show and whatever. But also I'm like, no, it's focused on the survival and the mystery. They don't get too bogged down in the melodrama of relationships and love triangles. Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but
there's also, they're always kind of constantly thinking about the big picture of how do I get through the Also, it would be funny if we had like a sex scene and there's just like one of like the creatures looking in through the window.
Just be
the smiley guy.
Yeah,
that's why he's smiling.
You know they've done that, right? I guarantee you in the
they're always watching.
Yeah, that's it, just like watching.
Yeah. That smiley guy is so creepy. He's so good.
I'm just thinking like maybe the colony house people do it just to taunt the creatures.
Probably, yeah.
Open the window, like, hey, check it out.
Open the blinds.
You'll never get this.
I did see some criticism. I think Callum was like Victor's too, like he looks too old for like, I guess some of his relationships. But I'm like, man, if you had lived for like 40 years...
No, but he's been there for 40 years.
But if you'd have been there for 40 years, because he looks older than, say...
Oh, yeah, no. I said that...
He looks like 50 and he's been there, he's been there since he was a kid.
I would just say, man, you're living there for a couple of years, you're going to look 10 years old.
Oh, yeah, no.
Just the stress of living there.
Also, he lived there before the amulets, so it's like, like that was the hard times.
Yeah.
Victor did
he lived some years.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy that... Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Obviously, again, we don't want to spoil anything, and we'll see more. It will be revealed later on. But there's this whole timeline thing that it gets more important as you.
It's funny. So, obviously not spoiling it. I was like, that last scene will either make it or break it for James, because I'm like, I didn't know how you were going to take that fun-off scene in season 3. I was like, is he going to be like, damn it, it's been JJ?
No, how do I was trying to explain this to Nathan. I'm not sure how to exactly put into words, and I'm not sure how to do it without spoiling it. But it's a show where I was watching and like I was trying to figure out the mystery and I was trying to figure out the clues. I wasn't looking anything up because I didn't want to get spoiled or influenced in any way. But then when a reveal sort of happened, even though I won't say I was like, aha, I knew it, but it felt right.
Yeah.
So I think that's a testament to the show not being like Lost, where they're just throwing stuff out there and being like, this doesn't make any sense, and like the mystery box is just ongoing forever, and then we're just going to end it in the worst way. It felt like every reveal was like, I see, I get it. That feels right.
Who's your favorite character in the show?
Probably Victor.
Victor.
It's the OG.
He's the best. He's the best actor in the show.
He's been there for a long time.
He's the best actor in the show.
He's got his little lunchbox.
Yeah,
so cool.
there's a scene-
With a gun. He carries a gun.
There's a scene where there's a reunion.
Yeah.
And like that was the most powerful acting I've
Yeah.
seen from Victor, like the actor who plays Victor in the whole show.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I think all the characters have their strengths. Like it's
Would-
even the
Jim
annoying.
sucks. I'm
Yeah,
just putting that
he
he
is a
sucks.
bit of a.
Who's your favorite character? Alan?
What was his name? He's the deputy.
Yeah.
Kenny.
Kenny.
yeah.
Kenny's a G.
He's
I
good.
reckon Kenny's probably my favorite
Yeah.
character
Yeah.
too.
He's like the one with his head on the most straight
yeah.
out of these people, which I'll kind of. But actually, I'll let Callum discuss his favorite character. You two before.
Mine's Kenny
Yeah.
as well.
Jade.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, actually, yeah.
Look, Jade.
Well, am I wrong?
Yeah, no, he's
What is it?
good.
The
Yeah.
people hate him because he thought the
He's
truth.
supposed
What's
to
the name?
Stop booing. I'm right. Like he's.
I mean, yeah. On
But
paper,
there's
he
a way
should
to
be.
go about it,
On
though.
paper, he
Yeah,
should be
yeah.
Alan's favorite character too. The
Yeah,
smart
no,
man, the
no, he's
alcoholic.
the alcoholic,
He's
yeah.
my second favorite.
Yeah.
It's just his attitude is what.
He's the one who
kills it.
fixed the still so they could have better booze.
Yeah.
Like his attitude kills it for me, unfortunately. Which is where Kenny comes in, and Kenny's been kicked and
Yeah.
kicked.
Yeah.
And Kenny
Even while
gets
he's
back
down,
up, yeah.
he's been kicked, and he gets up, and he's still got a better attitude than like 90% of the people in that
Alright.
hellhole.
Who's,
I do
James,
like
who's your-
Donna as well.
Donna
She's like
Yeah.
badass,
Yeah.
but then she's also like there's.
Scary.
Compassion.
She has her
Yeah.
limit. She
Yeah.
has her limits.
Who's your least favorite character?
You know it's Jim.
Randall's a dick, and I want him to get murdered.
It's alright. He's being tormented already.
But yeah, we'll see how his torment goes as the show goes on. Who else?
Well, Randall was your least favorite character. That's
Yeah.
fine. Who's your least favorite character?
The person that comes in season 3, they're a police officer.
Me and
Oh,
Alan,
yeah, Acosta.
me and Alan are twinning tonight. Acosta is also my
Yeah,
least favorite
yeah, yeah.
character.
She needs to get.
No
shit
surprise for
together.
me. Jim has Napoleon syndrome and I don't like it. anytime anyone tries to help, he's like, "Don't you talk to my daughter."
He's like the Jack. He's like the Jack from Lost.
Yeah.
He's like the main sort of good-looking.
He has main
guy,
character syndrome, and he's
but-
not the main
yeah,
character.
but
you
it's
know
like
what I mean?
no,
Yeah.
dude, you're the least interesting guy.
You were the main character in the
Just, yeah,
pilot.
walking-
Get over it.
Yeah.
Walking down the street, leave my wife alone. It's like, I don't know you, sir.
They're like, we're trying to get home.
It's
and
like,
he's
so
like,
this is a tennis.
my wife, my kids. It's like, shut up. We're trying to get home. Oh, Ethan's cool too. The little
Yeah.
kid. I like
Yeah.
him.
He's a cool kid.
They're like it's a good
Yeah.
ensemble show where
Yeah.
all the characters have their
Yeah.
little thing and their little contribute something.
Yeah.
There's the doctor lady and then the lady who runs the diner and
Yeah.
there's all this like little, like Callum said, like the little town stuff, trying to maintain this sense of normalcy in a hell nightmare world.
Yeah. My main kind of issues with the show were, damn it, I lost one of them. But the fixed one is that you'll get people that will literally see in front of their eyes like weird creatures.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
the fact that they're stuck in this place where
Oh.
they can't even leave, that kind of
And then they're not willing to believe in like
Yeah.
magic and stuff.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, I saw a little boy in the woods. It's like, no, you
like,
didn't.
dude, I'm like, hey, what are you doing here? Like, clearly weirder things have gone on.
Yeah.
You know, how are you gonna like be what is it?
Yeah.
Exit
you-
out on
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Of all the things to do.
How are you going to be disbelieving people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's like you're in an impossible situation.
Yeah. And the
I
other
also. Oh no, go.
the other issue I kind of had was, so in certain episodes, obviously people end up dying. I found that sometimes to pad the numbers of people dying, the show would like quickly introduce you to someone, and be like, "Hey, check this person
Yeah.
out. Do you like
It's-
them a bit? Well, they're dead."
It's because there are all these like faceless, nameless townspeople,
Yeah.
like extras in the background, and it's like when one needs to get killed, there's like a featured extra who
Yeah.
comes out and says, "Oh, in this episode, I'm going to say some lines, so when I get killed, you're kind of like, oh, that's that person that
Not
just
that guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
Look, my problem is related. I feel like they're very, very happy to pull the trigger on important characters.
No, that's a good thing.
No,
because no one's safe.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like keep your core cast safe and kill the secondaries. Don't kill.
I like that because like a lot of shows, movies, books, whatever. It's like plot armor characters. It's like, well, this person's going to survive crazy things, and we talked about with Stranger Things, where all the kids keep surviving, and they keep introducing new characters to kill off because they're afraid to kill the core characters. So I'm like, this is kind of like why, Game of Thrones was such a big deal. It's like no one was safe. Everyone gets killed. All the main characters, dead. First episode, you're dead. Last episode, you're dead. Like, I like there's stakes to it.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, it's obviously, it sucks when...
Rest in peace, Trudy.
Yeah, spoilers.
It's like first... It was like it's like the second or third episode.
I know. That's one kind of problem I have. I think this happens in a lot of shows. It's just a product of the way they write these a lot. Characters will do awful things and then they'll sort of either be forgotten about or they'll be forgiven and there's double standards of like, well, this character was being possessed so it doesn't count, and this character was also being possessed but we don't like them and so I don't know how I feel about it. It's not awful, but it's kind of like double standard.
It's
and
also,
like,
I guess, true to life in some ways.
I guess so.
People will ignore certain things about, that they will never forgive
yeah.
another person for.
I was like, because Sarah's character is really important in the first season, and then 2 and 3, she doesn't really do anything. And I was like, I thought there was going to be a lot more for her to do. And then at the end of season 3,
she does a lot.
She has something. So yeah, that'll be.
She puts in work, we'll say.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to next season, and I hope they get to, like I said, I hope they get to finish the show properly.
I think they will.
And hopefully, if it has got this traction, like hopefully more people.
The danger is, does it lose traction now? People are gonna have to wait 18 months.
That's the problem. It's like I finally caught up, and I was like, great, next year, new season. And it's like, nope. So, but I think that's one of the reasons we want to talk about is like people should watch this show.
Given how long it's probably going to be till the next season, I would like to vote that we, right before the season 4 starts, we'll do a spoiler-filled episode.
Yeah. Talk about all our theories.
With a proper warning.
Yeah.
Discuss, because I'll probably end up watching it again. We'll probably end up watching it again, and then kind of go through what we thought, what we felt, what we kind of think is going to happen.
Well, that's a good idea. We'll revisit it closer to season 4 with a full spoiler review.
Because right now the season's just finished. Like, it's been a week or two.
And like I said, it's like it's not the most well-known show where it's like we want to just go full spoilers and it's the mysteries are like the important part. So,
but it deserves a discussion at the very
least.
least.
We will revisit it when it's closer to season 4.
I will say one thing. Do you think Ankui is actually going to be revealed to be like a Hodor situation, where it's like actually another it's like 2 words combined into another word? Maybe. Like it's going to be revealed that Ankui actually means something, and
maybe
that's something.
We'll see.
I reckon it probably has a bit more significance. Maybe.
Yeah. There's still a lot to be revealed.
That's all we've got for tonight, everyone.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week. We're on all the socials at Tuesday Review AU. So that's Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Newsmask, Blue Sky, Twitter, and YouTube.
Delete Twitter.
At Tuesday Review AU. We're on Letterboxd. I'm Nathan B _90.
I'm channeldrifter.
I'm Alum20.
And I'm Callum Tuesday.
And we'll be back.
Give us a review, rate and review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, because it gets us higher up and gets more people listening to the show.
Yes, we'll be back next week. Adios, cousins.